Road tar, it's every car owner's nightmare. It's an unpleasant sight to look at, and if you wish to remove it, it's a very unpleasant task as well. Now in my hand I have a breakthrough product that promises to remove it easily in a matter of seconds.
This is the latest innovation from Yum Cars, and it's called Tar Residue Remover. Now you may think this is just another typical road tar remover, but if that is the case then you would be very wrong. And here's why.
Now look, I know most of you watching this will probably already know how tar remover works, but I'm pretty confident that there's going to be a large number of you who doesn't actually know what goes into those types of products, or even worse, what the potential side effects would be on your own paintwork. So I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Now most road tar removers contain something called white spirit. Now although white spirit is effective at breaking down the road tar, on the flip side of that, it actually breaks down those layers of protection, and after prolonged use, all this is going to do is gradually dull the paintwork, and it's not going to look very pleasant to look at. Now with products like this doesn't even contain any white spirit whatsoever. In fact, there's a few little secret ingredients in here that makes this one extra special, which we're going to see in a moment's time. So you're going to get all the positive effects from a decent tar remover, but you're not going to get any of the negative side effects from all tar removers.
Today's test subject is my client's Range Rover, and being white it's very easy to notice bits of fallout and road tar that may have found their way onto the car. So I want to show you some close-ups of it working in action here. From the second you spray it onto the surface, you can see it start to safely attack the road tar as it breaks it down. And thankfully the wetting agents give it longer dwell times, and in the winter this is more forgiving due to the cooler temperatures stopping it drying out. And I'm using a preloaded towel here to remove the tar nice and gently. When removing road tar, it's important to keep turning the microfiber cloth. So folding it into quarters helps you get the most out of it to save you wasting extra. And I also recommend throwing out the cloth after every use, as they end up becoming heavily contaminated. As I was pushed for time on this job, I'll admit I was being a little bit impatient, so I could have let it dwell for even longer. So it took me a couple of attempts to remove the heavy stuff, but all in all it performed brilliantly. The downside with any kind of tar remover is the smell that lingers on your clothes afterwards. And this one is no different, so my best advice is to not wear your best suit. The good news is this isn't limited to paintwork only.
So this is safe on matte paintwork, glass, trim, wheels, but it also has one more party piece.
Tyres. Yep, I know what you're thinking, because at no point in life should you ever use tar remover on tyres, and why would you? Well, as part of the decom process, I like to give the wheels an extra deep clean, but those tyres never really get the same amount of love. Yes, I scrub them with tyre cleaners, but this takes things to the next step. And if you have browning of the tyre walls, well, this product can help eliminate that. And the problem with your typical tar removers that contain white spirit is they will essentially cause early wear and tear on rubber, so it will leach oils and then become brittle, and that will come with huge implications. However, because this doesn't have any rubber killing ingredients, you can literally put this bottle to better use. So I'm basically prepping the tyre before I dress it, because a perfectly prepped tyre will make your dressing go even further. So the aim of this product is to remove any remaining gunk you may have missed. You can see here the tyres are looking pretty fresh, but this is something I'd only really do every 3 to 4 months or so on my own car. Speaking of my own car, mine was looking a bit worse for wear, so I decided to give it a quick clean up, so nothing major but just enough to keep on top of it. And I wanted to try out some tar remover on a wet surface to see if it made much of a difference. So I carried out the usual pre-wash snow foam and shampoo and gave the Audi a quick rinse. At this point I sprayed the chemical onto the lower third and left it to dwell. Something to bear in mind is you will dilute some of that strength, but when I rinse the car off it removes some of it without the need for scrubbing.
Right, let me show you where I'm at. So you saw in that footage there, I washed the car down and then I sprayed the right-hand side of the Audi with the tar and residue remover. Now for me, that's not really my favourite way of doing things. I like to make sure that I spray it on once the car is 100% dry. Now why do I do this? Because I want the chemical to bond onto those contaminants that are stuck onto the paintwork. So here's the road tar. What I'm going to do is just quickly spray it. And we can just leave this camera on record and you can see it as it breaks down. I mean, it's quite a remarkable product actually. I'm just going to spray some up here as well. You can see some more. Once you see one little piece, you see loads. So with a splodge like this, I don't think you're going to get it off in one hit. I mean, we're just going to give it a quick spray now. So I'm going to preload the cloth. And we're just going to start wiping it away. Now, there is a bit of a worry, and a lot of detailers will say this, because if you do slightly have any little pieces of grit or rock or stone or whatever inside this road tar, if you go to wipe it and you pick it up, and you're not really going to be able to tell whether there is any grit in it, all you could potentially do is actually scratch some of the clear coat. So you've got to be very careful when doing this. My recommendations is give it a couple of wipes, spray it over again, fold the cloth over and wait a minute or so, and then wipe it again once over. I know it could be a little bit time consuming, but for big marks like this, it's the best way of doing things without causing any damage. So you can see just the last of it there. I'm just going to spray my cloth one more time and gently wipe it over. I don't think there's any nasty things in this. Just take it out, and within a few more seconds, one more pass, and it's gone. To sum it up, I would say this is a bit of a niche product, and if you are a beginner who's literally buying it just for that one purpose of removing the road tar from, let's just say, an average car condition like this, so it's a bit rough around the edges, then I guess there's nothing wrong with using your traditional tar removers, as long as you understand the consequences if you constantly used it on the vehicle and what it could potentially do. However, if you're working on cars that are the best of the best and you're offering it as part of a business package, then using products like this is definitely going to be essential. Oh yes, it's looking lovely. Can't wait to take it back outside so it can get dirty again. Anyway, speaking about dirty cars, I recently uploaded a video all about keeping your car cleaner for longer during those winter months. If you want to get some of my top tips and find out how to do just that, you can go and watch this video right here.